This is a Willets Point Shea Stadium bound 7 express train. The next and last stop is Willets Point, Shea Stadium.
You know, we hear all these rumors and comments made about what, Yamamoto's looking for or what he wants out of this process, whether it's money, the legacy we hear about with some teams, wearing the number 18 like the Yankee fans seem to think as well. In your heart of hearts, will Yamamoto be in Queens and sign with the Mets?
Yes. And you know why? I think that the trip to Japan set the Mets apart. I think the ability to outbid anyone that they want to sets them apart. I think the presence of Kodai Senga may set them, I don't know about apart, but at least put them in a different category than maybe other teams. I think the allure of pitching in New York could be a thing for him. I don't think he's got that, Yankees itch that we saw like Masahiro Tanaka have when he came over, which is such a big deal when he came over, but he was only focused on the Yankees. I don't think that's going to be the case with Yamamoto. To say what you're saying about the number 18, I don't see a jersey number coming into play and stopping anybody from stopping him from going anywhere. I do think the Mets, have I don't want to say an inside track, but a very good chance of bringing him in. They want him here. I think it's ultimately going to be up to the player. And yeah, just from what we've seen and the type of trajectory he's been on as a ball player, he always wants more. He always wants to achieve more. What's better than winning it all in New York? Yeah. You know what? Write it down on the wall. Yamamoto to New York for a bunch of money.
I don't want to be a homer. I also think that Yamamoto is going to sign with the Mets, but I'll even go one step further. I don't think that the Yankees will be in top 2. I think it's going to be between the Mets and the Dodgers. Both pitchers need a legitimate ace. The Yankees already have that in Garrett Cole, which would move Yamamoto to second. Like you mentioned with Kodai Senga, I think that's huge. I think the fact that what Jeremy Hefner, and I give him a lot of slack for a lot of things over the years, but what Jeremy Hefner and that, I don't even know if they had the pitching lab then. I think it was just in the process of being created. But what the Mets were able to do with Kodai Senga in getting him, primed by midseason to take the ball every 5th day and stay healthy and stay on top of his game. I mean, it felt like he got better and better after every start. That's got to be a selling point and something that the Mets had to have addressed with Yamamoto. If we bring you in here, we already have evidence that, with Kodai Senga, who's a lot older than Yamamoto is, that our process will work and will make you a better pitcher by the end of the season. And on top of that, you're going to be the guy here. If he was to win a World Series with the Yankees and to a certain extent, even with the Dodgers, I don't think he's going to be the guy, right? They got Ohtani now, the Yankees got Soto, and the Yankees have the history that they have. But with the Mets, it's different. Obviously we don't have that allure and that history that every other team has or that the Dodgers and the Yankees have. But I think that's a big part, because not having that and having a guy like Yamamoto come in and win a championship, he will be held at one of the highest regards, because we all know the Mets are a pitching first team, and we've seen what they've done with the DeGrom and Dwight Gooden and Seaver. If he could deliver a title here, I mean, his character and his aura in Queens would go up tenfold.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we've seen what World Series winners in Queens have done for players in New York. Look at the 69 Mets, look at the 86 Mets. These are, as close to as sports legends as you can get in this town. It doesn't happen very often. Like you said, the Yankees have this storied history and all these, 20 whatever championships. When you win with the Mets, it's almost a different legacy. It's like, wow, these guys are, you got to remember the 69 Mets were doing ticker tape parades. I think they were sandwiched between astronauts getting ticker tape parades, like literally a couple of weeks apart. Like, you know, there's a certain, like you said, allure to winning in New York. Winning in Queens is, you know, and again, most of us wouldn't even know. I don't remember 86. I was 3 years old, but it almost feels like it would be different. And it almost feels like Yamamoto being involved in something like that would make it and of course, Senga too, it would make it a global thing. And you know, one of these days, whenever Ohtani wins a World Series, you'll have that same kind of effect. But you can imagine it here, combining that global phenomena with a New York phenomena, with the quote-unquote little brother phenomena of the Mets. Man, that would be like the perfect storm of champagne and tears, and it would be amazing. And I think that with the right selling point, you could get Yamamoto to buy into that. But yeah, ultimately, it's going to be up to the player. And if the Mets are going to throw all the money that they have, or all the expendable money that they have at somebody, I think it's got to be him, right?
Yeah, for sure. And we know how big of the Asian market that we have. We saw it when Ohtani came over. We see it with Senga, and you know how the fan base has really, you know, brought him in as one of their own. It's like Senga, I feel like has to be one of the more popular, you know, Mets out there. You got the ghost fork. You always get the Sega sound when he comes out to pitch and strikes out a batter. So I really do think that the Mets, at the very least, will finish top 2 in trying to get Yamamoto. I think the Dodgers are right up there, and I don't think that the Yankees, you know, for all that it's worth, for all that we've, you know, the history and all that stuff, I do think that they fall behind both the Mets and the Dodgers.